Pittsburgh comic expert here, doing a contest entry video into the amazing Murfinator1028 subscriptions contest. Not too worried about whether or not I win. Just want to support the community. So I had way too many covers for this one, so I tried to narrow it down to some covers that actually had some meaning and covers that I just always thought were interesting. So I'm going to start with this one. This is Crisis on Infinite Earths number 7. That's actually the Canadian price newsstand variant. CGC Signature Series, signed by George Perez. Love the cover of Superman holding his cousin dead in his arms on that, as well as, excuse me, the entire DC universe was drawn in the background with the exception of Hal Jordan's Green Lantern. Would you like to know how I know that? Well, if anybody watches Comic Book Men, at least whenever it was good, they went to see George Perez to get him to do a sketch for Mike, who had lost his collection due to the Hurricane Sandy floods. So George Perez did a commission for him, and he was talking about he had this cover as a big print in his office. So that's what he was talking about. So moving on to the next one here. I'm a huge fan of indie books, and this one here has always been one of my favorite indie titles. I also used to watch the cartoon a long time ago. This was The Tick, as you all can see that. That's the first comic book appearance of The Tick. And this one here was actually signed and head sketched by Ben Edlund, who also did the cover, artwork, story, everything. And he also is a writer on the show Gotham, if I remember correctly. So, huge fan of this number 1. I have a graded one. Then I have a raw copy as well of the special edition. And then even whenever they finally went to the first ongoing, I managed to get a nice copy of that too. So I do have all those. I even have the second print somewhere. That's a red cover, but they went up to, I think, 12 prints on that one. Next one here. Really love this cover. Caliber Presents number 1. It's a double cover, double-sided cover. This is the first appearance of the Crow. So the front cover was done by Tim Vigil. As you can see, I had this signed by him at Wizard World Pittsburgh. Well, you wouldn't be able to tell that from the signature, but that's where I met him. And then I also love the back cover. That's by J.O. Barr. And as you can see, he signed that. And that was at one of the local Steel City cons. So great cover there. I guess you can consider that too. All right. Incredible Hulk number 340. I at one point in time owned 5 copies of this book. Now I only own 2. And this one happens to be signed by Peter David. It is my goal one day to get this signed by McFarlane, but I hear he charges a good bit for signature, so it all really depends. And plus, he never comes to Pittsburgh because we're too small of a market. Although Leafield was here, so who knows. This is actually the first time Hulk and Wolverine have fight since they fought in Canada whenever Hulk was green. So technically, I guess you can say this is the first battle of Wolverine and Joe Fixit, since Hulk was gray in this one. Again, love that cover. Okay. Probably my favorite comic book ever, at least to read. Miracle Man number 15. That is done by the amazing John Totalben. And that is probably the best book in the whole series. It's definitely the darkest. Huge Alan Moore fan. And you could just tell. I mean, you've got Kid Miracle Man here holding Miracle Man, who's supposed to be invincible and just ready to kill him, basically. And you could see London in the background, and you got people on pikes and everything. I mean, Kid Miracle Man was a real badass. So, yeah, that's just a great cover. Lots of good Totalben covers in that series. All right. Amazing Spider-Man number 36. Now, that's a blank black cover. Reason I want to show it is because I 9/11 was one of the tragedies that unfortunately I witnessed live listening to it on the radio while I was on my way to class. I was in college then, senior in college, so I was getting ready to graduate, and it's to me it's just one of those things that just sticks with me. So this is the 9/11 issue of Spider-Man. This is just an all black cover. I think it's perfectly symbolizes what happened that day. So no disrespect to any of the 9/11 survivors. I'm just or victim, any of that. I mean, I do not believe in profiting off of anything for 9/11. I even had one of those heroes programs that I picked up, and I sold it on eBay, and I donated 100% of the sale to Wounded Warrior Project. So yeah, it's just like I said, one of those events that happened in my life that really hit close to home for me. Even though I've never been to New York City, but still it hit home for me because I listened to the towers fall on the radio, and like I said, it's something you can't ever really unhear when you know what was behind it. So that's why I picked this cover. Okay. Next one here, I'm a huge fan of Bernie Wrightson. This is my third copy of this. This is Swamp Thing #1. That's the first of the solo series. Great artwork there. I love the early Swamp Thing. Marvel Premiere number 15, the first appearance of Iron Fist. I thought that was a pretty badass cover. I see Danny Rand just whooping some ass here, fist glowing, kicking everybody else's ass. I mean, great action cover. Hard not to like it. Alright, really like this one because I grew up with G.I. Joe. That's the Virgin variant of the Death of Snake Eyes. That just says it all. Anybody who's ever read G.I. Joe early on knows that Scarlet and Snake Eyes were romantically involved, even though you never really saw his face. He did a couple times, but it was scarred and everything. But yeah, I thought that's just a great cover. I think there were only 900 of those ever made. Okay, got some modern Batmans here, and then I've got two more to show you, and that's it. So these are just really awesome Jim Lee covers. I'm a huge fan of Jim Lee's work. This is actually a really hot book right now for some weird reason, but thought that was a great cover. Superman holding Batman by the throat. Let's see. Love this one. This is Batman 635. That's the first appearance of Jason Todd as the Red Hood. And the cover is paying homage to, Detective Comics 165? I have it written down. It's Golden Age Detective Comics, and it's the origin of the Joker as the Red Hood. And that's paying a little homage there. And this one here is a great one. This is actually Batman Annual number 25, and that is Batman holding a dead Jason Todd, and basically it's paying homage to the Death of the Family series. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, last two. Love this one here, Ghost Rider #1. That's a pretty awesome Johnny Blaze cover here. That's the first solo title for Ghost Rider, and I love the Bronze Age artwork. And last but not least, pretty much my favorite book in my collection. Well, second favorite. I love Miracle Man 15 better than this one as far as the writing goes. That's obviously Hulk 181. It really needs no introductions or anything else like that. But that's just a great cover of Wolverine cutting through. Late great Herb Trimpe. Just awesome. So hey, Murfinator, good luck. I did subscribe. I hope more people do. This guy's got some great books, so check him out. All right, thanks for watching.